formula you used last year. All right, formula for slope. I have two formulas that I like using. Probably the one you're familiar with from last year is the following. Y2 minus Y1. So the change in the Y's on top, over on the bottom, X2 minus X1. Okay, change in Y over change in X. That's probably the one you guys are familiar with. That's great if you're given 2 points. Like if I say, hey, here's 0.68, here's -2.3, find the slope between the two. You can plug in the points. That's great. If you have a graph of the line already and I say, what's the slope of this line? I like using this one. And that is, you probably heard of this too, rise over run. Yep. I like using that, especially when the line's already graphed for us, okay? So there's our slope formula, okay? Changing y over changing x. What my goal is for you guys today is write the equation of a line. Write the equation. Now, there's a couple different ways you could write the equation. Anybody, the term point slope ring a bell from last year? Okay, that's great. I'm not going to get into that. What I'm getting into is slope-intercept form. That's what we're going to leave all our answers in today, which is y equals mx plus b. All our equations I want left in this form, slope-intercept. Two different things on this equation. M is for, it's up over there already, but M is, there's going to be a number plugged in, and that is the slope of the line. And there's going to be a number plugged in for B, which is your y-intercept. Okay, those are the two things you need to be able to have to write this equation. So I made it real easy for you on problem number one. Real easy. We're going to find the slope, the y-intercept, and then we're going to graph it together. Oh yeah, there's a fire drill today. You guys are going out that door down here all the way onto the pavement on Van Dyke, the sidewalk, right? Let's get this done. All right, so number one here, y equals 4x plus 2. Let's find the slope together, y-intercept, and then we're going to graph it, right? Slope, what's in place of m? I won't call on anybody yet here. I'll give you a little couple minutes here to get it involved here. 4x plus 2, what's my slope? What's in place of m? 4, right? Slope's 4. How about my y-intercept? What's in place of b? 2. There we go. 4 and 2. Now we're going to graph it without using the graphing calculators because I don't have time to go to y equals, type it in, go to my table, plot a couple points. We should be able to plot points just knowing the y-intercept and the slope from last year. First point you should be graphing is the y-intercept, which is 2. Now I got a couple 2's on the graph here. Where do I plot this first point? Y, because it's the y-intercept, so it goes on the y-axis. So I go up to 2 on the y-axis, plot my first point, and I need at least one other point to graph a line. So I use my slope, which is 4, and I go use the formula I just gave you, rise over run. So I go up, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and over. I know there's nothing there, but there's really a 4 over 1. So I go up 1, 2, 3, 4 to the right or to the left? To the right because it's positive slope. All right, if you want to do it again to get a third point, you go up 4 over 1. Graphing is not my concern today, so I don't care if you have a straight edge or not. Just graph the line through. Go ahead, boom. Graphing is not my concern today. There we go. So there's that line. All right, nice, easy one. This is the level you guys got to be at, number 2 now. Is the slope -6? That's what's in front of the x, right? It should be -6. No, it's not. Why not? Because you can't tell me what the slope is unless it's in slope-intercept form. You cannot tell me the slope unless it's in slope-intercept form. So that's what I need your help in. Get this y equals so it looks like this up here. Y equals. First step. Getting the y by itself. First step.
Add
6x to both sides. So I have 3y. Can we write this in the right order too? 6x plus 12. 6x plus 12. And then getting rid of the 3, how do you want to do it? Divide by 3. Everything gets divided by 3. Everything. So I end up with y equals 2x plus 4. There we go. Now I'll start calling out some people. How about the slope and y-intercept here? Let's hear from 3. Slope and y-intercept.
Slope is 2.
Yep. Y-intercept 4. Great work. And now let's graph it. What point should I graph first? Y-intercept, which is 4. So everybody go to 4 on the y-axis. Graph it. And then I'll go up 2 over 1. Up 2 over 1. And again, graphing's not my concern. It's really writing the equations today. Done. Questions, comments, any concerns? All right, now let's start writing the equations in y equals mx plus b form. What do you say? I'll give you some info. You write the equation in slope-intercept form. All right, write the equation slope-intercept form. Again, reminder, y equals mx plus b. To do that, every problem we do now, you need to figure out what the slope is if it's not given and the y-intercept. They go from very easy to a little bit difficult, 3, 4, and 5. 3, pretty easy, right? Everyone see I'm giving you both pieces of information you need. Right? I'm giving you the slope and I'm giving you the y-intercept. Put them together and let's get the equation for me. Here we go. 8. Good. You got both, so just write the equation now. Y equals
3x plus 4.
Done. You're welcome for that one, guys. Whew, wipe the sweat away, right? That was a tough one. Okay, what if I don't give you both pieces nice and easy like number 3? Number 4, I've given you the slope, right? But what do I not give you? Okay, that's a problem. Now, I don't know how you guys were taught last year or who you had. Doesn't matter to me. Here's how I teach finding the y-intercept if you're not given to it. I use this equation again. Y equals mx plus b. Remind me again, out of these 4 variables, which one's your y-intercept? 11? You just get here. Sorry, Kelly, you just got here. Never mind. 4? Which one's the y-intercept? B. So leave it as B. So that means I got to plug in for y, m, and x. And what's going to go in for those? That's the point you were given. 2, negative 4. What's the y coordinate? What's the y coordinate on 2, negative 4? So that goes in for y. Negative 4 equals, you already know m, I gave it to you, which is negative 1. And that's times the x coordinate, you know, which is 2. There you go, guys. I'm going to use y equals mx plus b, plug in the point and the slope, and solve for b now. Go ahead. Multiply 2 times negative 1, move it over, and let me know your b value here in a second. Five, when you have it, what's your b value?
It's negative 2.
Yep. Negative 2 is your y-intercept. Good work. Now put the 2 together. The slope I gave you, the y-intercept we found, and write the equation of this line for me now. 7, what's the equation of the line? Oh, thank you. One job, right? 2, what's the equation of this line? Y equals?
Y equals negative 1x minus 2.
There you go. If you want to put the 1 in front there, make yourself feel warm and cozy inside, feel free. Good? Any issues? All right, what if I give you neither one? You don't have slope or the y-intercept. So number 5, I'm giving you 2 points on the line. We don't have either, right? I don't have the slope or the y-intercept. Let's start with the slope first, though. Finding the slope. I think I gave you equation at the beginning of the class today. How to find slope. That's how we're going to find the slope, using those 2 points. Change in y over the change in x's. Bless you. All right, give me the 2 y coordinates of P and Q. 11. What 2 y coordinates you want to subtract?
0 and negative.
Okay, so when I go 0 minus negative 3, what's going to happen?
Add 3.
Okay, I'll write it. 0 minus negative 3. Now, could I have went negative 3 minus 0? Yeah, that's fine. I could have went that way. And then what about my x's on the bottom? Now, this is, hey, you have to pay careful attention. Notice we picked the 0 first, so we got to pick its x coordinate first. It's not like distance formula was back in the day where I could just mix and match and who cares. All right, whatever y coordinate you pick, you got to pick its x coordinate first. So what are the x's going to look like on the bottom? 7. Just keep reminding me all day. 10. My x coordinates.
So 5.
Yep.
And negative 3. Oh, 7.
7, right? I got to go 5 minus 7. I can't go 7 minus 5. All right, let's keep grinding here. That'll be what on top? 3 over, what do we have on the bottom? Negative 2. So 3 over negative 2 for your slope. Leave it like that. So I got the slope. Now you need y-intercept. Same exact way we found it in the last problem. Y equals mx plus b. And I'm going to leave b the way it is. In problem number 4, you only had 1 point you could use. Now in number 5, you choose a point and use the x and the y. Any class decision here? Which point do we want to pick, P or Q? P? Fine. We're going to use point P now. If we use point P, what am I plugging in for y? Give that one away. 5. What am I plugging in for y?
0.
0. How about m? Keep it going.
For m, negative 3. Wait.
M's your what?
3 over 2.
Yep. We just did the 3 over
2.
3 over
Negative 2.
negative 2. And what's your x value if we picked point P?
5.
5. Yep. And I don't feel any sympathy for you guys because you guys have calculators. You can do negative 3. You can do 3 over negative 2 times 5 and move it over. What do you get? Negative 15 halves or negative 7.5? Either one. Leave it as a decimal. Leave it as a fraction. I don't care. I'm going to leave it as a fraction. Negative 15 halves plus b. How do you move it over? Either way, though. Whether you left it as a decimal or a fraction, how are you moving that over? 1. How am I moving that over, Anna?
Add to both sides.
Yep. So there's your b value. Okay, put the 2 together for me. What's the equation of this line? Anna, again.
Y equals 3 over negative 2 x plus 7.5.
Good. Don't forget your x there.
I said that.
No, I'm just, in general, I'm just talking to the class. So you all good? Yes, Spence.
Do I have to take the second y and the second x, or does it not matter?
Say that again.
For the equation, do you have to use the second y first, or do you have to use both y?
What do you mean the second y?
For the equation,
It's like
y2 is the y in the second coordinate.
Doesn't matter. Just as long as whatever y you use first, you have to use its x coordinate first. Okay. Anything else? Okay, so how does this tie into what we're doing in this unit? Why am I reviewing all this? What's the name of our unit? Not our course, our unit. If you look at unit 3, this is called what? Parallel and perpendicular lines. So why are we doing slope? Because now what we're going to talk about is, and I think you talked about it last year, if 2 lines are parallel, their slopes are, I'll leave that blank for a second. So I know two lines are parallel, automatically know what about their slopes. Anybody from last year? So I think this is something you reviewed, Anna.
The same?
They're equal. Yep, they're the same. Are equal. Okay. So if two lines are parallel, one line has a slope of 5, so does the other line has a slope of 5. All right, so take a look at number 6, 8 up here for me. I'm telling you, I want an equation of a line that is parallel. So you don't need to write this down, but I'm thinking to myself, all right, these two lines are going to have same slopes, okay? Same slopes. Can you tell me what the slope of this line is? No, not right now, right? Don't tell me it's -1. Why not? That's garbage. Garbage! Because why, Spence? Darn right, it's got to be y equals. So how do I get rid of that 2 so I can tell you the slope? Divide by 2, everyone. Let's go. Divide by 2. Y equals, what are you looking like? What's it looking like on the right side? What's that look like when I divide everything by 2 on the right side? Negative. Okay, leave it 1/2. Is that right?
Yep.
1/2 x plus 2. All right, what's the slope here? Now the slope is 3. What slope am I working with here? -1/2. So that's going to be the slope of my parallel line. Why? Because they're always equal to each other. Everyone good? Whatever one line is, if it's parallel, it's the same slope on the other line. What's the only piece I'm missing now? I got the slope. I got to write an equation, though, so I'm missing the what still? Y-intercept. We're going to find it the same exact way we've been doing in class today. Y equals mx plus b. B is going to stay b. And now I need your help plugging in for y, m, and x. All right, what do you want to plug in for y? Look at the information I gave you. What numbers are getting plugged in for y? 6. 5. Good. How about the m value here? 2.
-1/2.
Yep. Again, why am I plugging in the exact same slope? What do I know about the lines? They are parallel. So I got to plug in the same exact slope. And how about your x value to plug in? Oh, 10. -2. Good. All right, everyone go to town. Let's see your b value. And what do you got for your slope for me? 2, when you're ready. 4. Put the 2 together now. Somebody come up with the equation of this parallel line. 10, the parallel line, y equals?
Y equals 1/2 x.
1/2?
1/2. -1/2.
Okay, go ahead, keep going. Yep.
X plus 4.
Great job. So if two lines are parallel, always the slopes are going to be the same. All right, what if they're perpendicular, which means what? The two lines form right angle. Okay, what if they're perpendicular? This one's a lot tougher. I wish I could just say, hey, slopes will stay the same, but they're not. Okay, so here we go. If two lines are, I really don't feel like writing the word perpendicular. Anybody remember the symbol I can put down? Go ahead. There we go. Yeah. If two lines are perpendicular, the slopes are. Ooh, this one's a tougher one. Got to do a little more work on this. I'll let you guys show off if anybody remembers. They're not equal.
Opposite?
Half, correct. You're looking for the, they are opposites of each other, but there's something else. They're opposites and, okay, here we go. Ready? They are negative, which is basic, what I'm going to use instead of opposite. Reciprocals. Reciprocals. They are negative reciprocals. Anybody remember reciprocal? What do I have to do?
Oh, it's like the opposite. Upside down. Of a fraction.
Flip. Right, I gotta flip it. Okay, so I'm gonna, ready? If two lines are perpendicular, you're gonna take the slope of one line, flip it, and change the sign. Positive to negative, negative to positive. Okay, you're gonna flip it. Flip it. So look at my, I don't think you guys have this, do you? You have another one up there. Thanks. Let me copy this down here. You guys have y plus 3 and going through 8, 6. Okay, here we go. So it's got to be perpendicular to this line going through 8, 6. All right, let's worry about the slope. Can you tell me what the slope of this line is yet? No, why not? It's not in. Y equals slope intercept. So let's get it into y equals. Ooh, ooh, ooh. What do you think you got to do first to get it into y equals? Okay, before I even do that though, because I don't want to move the 3 over yet. There's still some stuff on the right side I want to do.
Distribute.
Yeah, let's distribute the 4. Good call. Yep, distribute the 4. So y plus 3 equals 4x minus 8. Now I can move over the 3. How? Yep, move the 3 over, subtract it. Y equals 4x minus 11. What's the slope of that line? 1. And what's the slope of that line? 4x minus 11. What's the slope?
Okay, I didn't know if you were saying that line.
Yep.
Perpendicular.
Nope, just that one. Okay, everyone ready? The slope of that line is 4. So this new line that's perpendicular to it, watch how I'm going to write this, m with a little perpendicular sign. How do I find that slope? Negative reciprocal. Flip it in your mind right now and change the sign. Flip it and change the sign. So the 4 becomes, it's got to be negative, right? And when I flip it, what's it become, Nate?
Negative 1/4.
Negative 1/4. Everyone good what I mean by flip and change the sign? So we now know the slope. Now let's work over here to find the y-intercept. Just like we did all today, leave the b alone. And what do you want me to plug in? 13. Here we go. What are you going to plug in for y? Remember the point. Remember, we use the point it goes through to fill in for y and x.
So 6.
6 equals. Now the slope, we want this new slope because this is my new line. So do I want 4 or negative 1/4? Good. Negative 1/4. And how about my x?
8.
8. There you go, everybody. Go to town. $13 again. How about your b value?
If I get the negative 1/4 times 8,
Yep.
which is negative 2,
Move it over.
multiply by the 6.
No. Move it over. You have this right now, right? 6 equals negative 2 plus b.
Mm-hmm.
How do I move that negative 2 over? Because I go ahead. Yep. So what's my b value?
8.
There you go. We got it. All right. Last step. Take both your values and write me the equation of this perpendicular line. 9. What's the equation going to be?
Y equals negative 1 plus.
Ooh, missing something. Negative 1/4. Got to have the x in there. Totally different equation if you leave it out and then plus 8. There you go. Okay, so parallel lines, same slope, perpendicular. They got to be flipped and the sign's got to be changed. All good? Because the last thing I got to go over are 2 special lines. All good? All right, let's do it. 2 special lines. Got to go backwards. There we go. This should be fun. So I gave you a little piece of graph paper at the bottom of the page. Can you guys graph 5, negative 1 for me right now? Graph the point 5, negative 1. and draw, oh boy, this is going to be good. A horizontal line through it. Oh boy. Horizontal. Horizontal. Come on, above average kids. Horizontal. You got it. Oh boy. Horizontal horizon. However, I remember that. There you go. So I'm looking, what's the equation of this line? Because it's horizontal, it doesn't really follow the y equals mx plus b rules, right? It doesn't follow the y equals mx plus b rules when we're horizontal here. So here's what I want you to do right now. We already have 1 point, which is what, 5, -1. Can you plot another point on there for me? Anywhere you want on the line. Go ahead. Put another point. Anywhere on the line. Jot down the coordinate that you just plotted. Okay? Off to the side, whatever point you just plotted, jot it down. So I jotted 2, -1. And let's do this one more time. Make another point on the line for me, a third point, and write it down. Graph another point on the line and graph it. Look at the 3 points now. What's in common? And this will help you with your equation of this line. What's in common on all 3 points right now? 9, what's in common on all 3 of your points? Is the what coordinate? Okay, say that one more time. Say it one more time. The y's are all equal to what? That's the equation. Y equals -1. Okay, y equals -1. So you guys have a little box for the rules. Horizontal line. Is always y equals a number. That's for any horizontal line. Y equals a number. What's the number going to be? Depends where it is on the graph. Okay, depends where it is on the graph. Last thing here before we get off horizontal. Any line that's horizontal has a slope equal to 0. Okay, 0. The number 0. That when I say 0, that doesn't mean does not exist. It means the number 0. Okay. All right, last one. How about a vertical line now? What's the equation? Because it doesn't follow the rules either. So go ahead, graph 4, 3. And let's, not 5, 3, 4, 3. And graph a vertical line through it. Graph another point. Let's do it again. Do the same thing we did for horizontal. Graph another point. Jot it down. And graph a third point and jot it down. What is in common on all 3 of these points now? What's in common? 10. What's in common all 3 of these points? Is what? So the equation of this line? X equals 4. Perfect. So what's the rule for a vertical line? It's always X equals a number. X equals a number. So horizontal is Y equals a number. And you can keep doing this too. If you ever forget the rule, just write a couple points out and you'll exactly see what's in common. Last thing, anybody know the slope for any vertical lines? Yeah. It doesn't exist. Note. So slope is, you can say undefined, no slope. It does not exist. Okay, you cannot find the slope of a vertical line, but slope of a horizontal is the number 0. But undefined for a vertical line. All good? Questions? All right, why don't you grab a book and take a look at, there's no graph. I don't want any graphing done tonight. So if it says to graph in the book in the directions, don't graph. I don't want any graphing done. All right, that's not my concern. My concern is finding slopes and equations. So go ahead, let's get going.